let's move ahead real quick to his experience with Dr. Ron Paul.
And they were like, I don't think you got enough gold to cover all these dollars.
Right. So this is back and forth about like the French were trying to fuck us and the temporary status and whatever. And like again, basing your economy on a pretty rock is just fucking dumb.
That we never heard about?
Well, what I know is that I'm pretty sure it was the French, might have been the British too, but it was definitely the French.
All right, whatever.
No.
It's the same fucking story. Right?
Framed it as like, the French are attacking the...
Right, okay, where's this?
Like, that's what you should have done, because the decision to go off of the gold standard essentially just said, well, now there's no more even pretend limits on government.
Yes, there are. The Fed sets the standard of what the dollar is worth based on its the amount in circulation, the work that's being done, the amount of products bought and sold inside the United States, imports and exports. It's more complicated than a fucking pretty rock. You know why? Because an advanced economy would not be based on the pretty rock you can mush into a crown and wear on your stupid fucking head.
This is why Ron Paul...
Why don't you base it on coal while you're at it? Shit, you can make the value of your money go up the more coal you burn. Then the value of coal will go up as you heat your house, and then your dollars are worth more until you have to use them to heat your house.
Happy birthday to the greatest living American hero. Just turned 90. Ron
Paul. The greatest living American. Ron Paul. The guy who was fucking astroturfed by the fucking Russians on his run. Just a pile of shit. Ran on this audit the Fed nonsense that everybody buys into and never happens.
I was just at his birthday party a few weeks ago.
Who else was at that birthday party, Dave Smith? Huh? Who else? Anybody?
And
damn, look at you partying with Ron Paul.
That dude throws it down. No, I'm just kidding. It was very nice though to see him. Tulsi Gabbard was there, which was cool.
Sorry, speaking of Russian AstroTurf, who
throws it down? No, I'm just kidding. It was very nice though to see him. Tulsi Gabbard was there, which was cool.
Tulsi Gabbard at Ron Paul's fucking birthday party with this dipshit. What? Sorry, the head of the ODNI is at the fucking at the birthday party of Ron Paul. And this motherfucker's like, the CIA's to blame for everything, or used to be. Now it's great. Now we can trust the intelligence services today under Donald Trump. And God bless Tulsi Gabbard and how she's running. She's not doing anything fucking sketchy. Get the fuck out of here.
But so essentially, right, that was the last restraint on government, is that at least, even then, even under Bretton Woods when we're cheating, at least there's some feeling of like, well, don't cheat too bad, because they could maybe try to,
count the gold.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But after that, it was off to the races. And this is why Ron Paul ran for Congress. It was when Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard. And then he was like, this is going to lead to big government. This is going to be the era of big government. So he was going to run to try to stop that.
In Nixon, this is during Nixon. He's going to run for Congress to stop that because it's going to lead to the era of big government. So, and by the way, by big government, they meant Nixon, then Ford into Carter for 4 fucking years. And then we don't get to even a system where the Republican Congress or Senate is going for the contract with America, and the president, who is a Democrat, is trying to curb spending, including that clip they keep using of Joe Biden where he's like, I'll cut Social Security, but we have to cut everything equally. We can't pick and choose. You can't gut Social Security and then raise defense spending. I'm not going to fucking do it. But if you're serious about cutting everything by a percentage, let's fucking talk. And they always use that against him, like Joe Biden wanted to cut Social Security. He was calling their fucking bluff.
And he was completely right. This is what has really destroyed everything.
Really destroyed everything. Says I would argue 2 millionaires talking across the table. What do you think? I mean, he's not broke, and Joe's a fucking multimillionaire. Everything's broken, is it?
That there's just no, and it's a big part of the reason why I'm so angry about all these wars too, because it's all related.
No, it is not.
The Federal Reserve was created in 1913. Or the Federal Reserve Act.
All right. So this is the same libertarian bullshit that everybody throws at. Wait. This is the important part, though. He skips ahead. I wrote down 4417. Something right. I'll lead up to that. Here we go.
Like, this is the banking system and the tax system are very, like, interrelated with the warfare state. Like, you need this.
Okay. Focus on what he's about to say here. So they created the banking system, which, by the way, was still on a gold standard at this time. Because they wanted to wage war.
Stuff in order to fight wars. And, you know, even just over the last 25 years, we've spent close to $10 trillion on wars, you know, and they didn't tax the American people for that. Because they know they couldn't tax us enough to pay. We would put an end to it. If they tried to raise everybody's taxes enough to come up with $10 trillion because we want to go fight regime change wars all over the Middle East, the American people.
Well, we don't. And by the way, that's why 9/11 was the precursor for it. It wouldn't have happened on its own. This is so lazy. I mean, again, this is just like crumbs from the fucking edge of Alex Jones's desk from fucking 15 years ago. Oh, wait. The setting up the income tax was actually, well,
would have been like, no, we're not doing that. But they didn't do that. They kept taxes where they were. I think they even cut some rates during those years, the top rates. And then they borrowed the rest, and they still couldn't borrow enough, so they just print the money. And then essentially what happens is that the price of everything just goes up and up and up, and you just put more.
Also, it didn't. Like inflation didn't spike during the beginning of the Iraq War, or even in the middle, or even near the end of the Iraq War. For real. And the debt accrued in that was borrowed from Social Security.
Money into the system, and then people start looking around and going like, geez, why is the price of housing and healthcare and energy and childcare totally unaffordable? And the answer is because you're paying for the war in Iraq.
No, it isn't. Like, again, completely unfucking related. Seriously. What do you think? Corporations are completely off the fucking hook in this shit? What? What the? Honestly. Like, and look at his fucking face. He seems to think this is like an aha moment. Like regular consumer inflation is not up because we spent money on wars. The only time it actually drives the price of those kind of things up is when oil is interrupted. And that doesn't even happen anymore. Oil consumption, we've hit peak oil. Oil consumption is going down while production is up. This is fucking, and both of them are like, fucking, because, and I think it's largely the Democrats behind the scenes making Bush and these guys and Nixon do this. Like, get out of here.
And nobody thinks about it like that.
Because it's stupid.
But that's really what's going on. They can't. So for all the young people who are coming out of college now, and they're like, I'm 150 grand in debt. I have a gender studies major degree.
Yeah, this is the obligatory woke dunking, right? Because you went to school for something stupid and useless, right? Is the idea, and gay and female or something, right? You got to throw that in.
Or whatever, maybe something better than that. But
yeah, how about coding, motherfucker? Since nobody needs you to code. If you're in college right now, by the time you get out of college, AI will be coding everything.
They got an English degree or something, and they're working at DoorDash, and the average house is going for 600 grand. And
the average house isn't going for 600 grand in the United States.
They're like, what am I possibly going to do? It's like the reason why these kids are all demanding socialism, at least on the left, is because, like, what else are you going to do?
I don't know. Ask the kids on the right who apparently aren't demanding socialism. Oh, wait. Yes, they are.
Like, how do you even... But the reason why that is the case is because...
They just don't call it that. They just call it, like, be a boss and give us stuff.
Your government decided to spend trillions of dollars on blowing up brown countries, and in some cases then rebuilding them to blow them up again. I mean, this is the actual cost of the thing. And
no, it's fucking not. What were they going to do? Seriously. look, the money's borrowed against the Social Security safety net. It's not like made up. They didn't just print money. This money printer go burr bullshit is nonsense. The reason we print more money is because the currency, our country's currency, is the baseline currency, not just for like oil trades, but for a bunch of countries. Fucking Turkey's entire economy is run on dollars. Argentina is using US dollars. The whole country. Like, their monetary supply is predicated on our money being available.
I feel like it's almost nobody outside of like the Ron Paul libertarians, the Austrian economics guys.
Yes, the dipshit, isolationist, Ayn Rand suck-ups.
Almost nobody else ever makes this connection.
No, everybody else looks at the connection and dismisses it as the bullshit that it is. Yeah, Austrian economics is fucking ridiculous. So is libertarianism. It's not even a political philosophy. It's somewhere between like the Unabomber's fever dream and a get off my lawn.
That it's like, this is the deal. You can't be a world empire without having a central bank that can print money for you, because otherwise it just doesn't work. Resources are finite and you'll run out of them. And so
maybe that's why all the bigger countries have fiat currencies. Does this asshole think that like most countries are based on a gold standard? Are any major countries based on a gold standard?
Can't do that without having this monetary system. But the cost of this monetary system is that prices always go up and up and up and up, and that rigs the entire economy against the working class and the middle class in favor of the rich. It's just the way it is. When the value of assets is going up and up and up and up, that's great if you own stuff. That's great if you own stuff and you're selling it. If you got $1 billion in the bank, inflation is your best friend.
Okay, there is this year. Hold revenue more heavily than others. Till 1999, Venezuela's Guess how many countries? I don't want to check this. I'm going to check this again against two sources just to make sure. How many countries still use gold standard to back their currency? Anybody want to guess? Anybody want to guess how many? Anybody? Whew. Anybody want to guess how many countries still stick to the gold standard? Out of 180 major countries, not counting, Peter Thiel's bullshit. Matt, there you go. Black Dragon right out of the fucking gate. Nails it. 0. There are no countries. None. Sorry, David. I appreciate you're like the G7 or something is probably where you were going with that. None. Not a fucking one. There are no countries on Earth that still hold to a gold standard. Not a one. That's right. Not the G7, not the G8. Nobody. People hold gold for its value as an asset, but they don't peg their currency to it. Nobody does. Not even the BRICS countries. Nope. The BRICS countries, they would go to war about gold if they had to peg the bricks that they're going to make up to it. None. Not a fucking one. So the question, I guess, for Dave Smith is that if the reason you create a fiat currency is so that you can wage war, and there's not a single fucking country on the gold standard, is that the plan for everybody? Is there a pinbic for the project for a new Bulgarian century? Or PNEC for the project for a new English century? Or the PINFIC for the French century? God damn. All right. Sorry. I know this is a lot today, but Jesus.
But if you're on a fixed income or you're a working class person,
you should have voted for Harris, and I hope you voted for Biden, because this asshole doesn't even think you should be allowed to have a fixed income. Let me be real fucking clear. Any like fucking like violin music this dickhead is playing for people on a fixed income or on Social Security is bullshit, because libertarians don't believe that it should exist. Period. There should be no Social Security. There should be no Medicare, no Medicaid. That's overreach by the federal government, and people should be allowed to drown like God intended.
Destroys you. And everybody who's working class knows this just from living through the last 5 years. But, you know, your grocery prices go up 30%. That is, you know, that's you know, people have this idea that there's...
What caused it? What, the Ukraine war caused it to go up 30%? Could it possibly be the necessity of expenditure from reshoring after COVID?
Like economic issues over here, and then there's like social issues over here, or there's foreign policy over here, but it's all one thing.
Yeah, it's all connected. It's just red strings attached to red strings, man. Fucking hell. Yeah.
You know, the prices of groceries go up by 30%.
Okay, where is it? Okay, this is...
And families get destroyed. Men swallow pistols. Kids grow up without fathers. Like, that's
when unemployment goes up like a point. Like the suicides go up like there are like 10,000 suicides tracked every point it goes up, which is why the Democrats focus on keeping unemployment as close to zero as possible. So the only people looking for a job are people who want one.
Cost of this shit, and that's what we're living through now, and what we'll continue to live through as long as we have a government that it spends way beyond our means. Like
Trump is responsible for a third of the national debt. By the time he's done with the spending he's going to do during his term, he's going to be responsible for half of it, approaching $40 trillion. Half of the national debt. He had a third in the last term. It's going to be half.
Dr. Ron Paul used to say, when you spend...
Dr. fucking Ron Paul. Jesus.
Beyond your means, you're destined to live beneath your means.
Yeah, bro. That's not true at all for either of these two gentlemen.
And we have an economy that's built around doing the exact same thing it's always done, right?
What's that?
And if you think about the amount of money...
Sorry, what's the exact same thing it's always done?
Just in...
Oh, welcome, Robin. This is Dave Smith on Joe Rogan. And by the way, I think we skipped past the point where he said that fuck, I got to find this one point because it's going to drive me crazy. Where is it? Back here? 44, 42. Let's see.
We'll take gold. You know, we got all these dollars. We'll take gold. We get an ounce for every 35. I think you got enough gold.
Hold on. I think it might be
an ounce for $35. And a lot of Asia is destroyed, or not yet. I guess this is World War II. It was in 1944.
Yeah, here we go.
Look, what were we going to do at that point? And so he was basically saying, because what happened was essentially, so you had like the Bretton Woods Agreement, which started after World War II. Or actually, I'm sorry, it started at the very end of World War II. It was in 1944, where they had the Bretton Woods Agreement, where they could kind of see where World War II was going. And it was basically like, okay, well, all of Europe is destroyed, and a lot of Asia is destroyed, or not yet, I guess this is 44, but it was getting there. And America had, you know, at least on the homeland, hadn't really been touched. And we had like a wild amount of the world's gold. And so the deal was essentially that like, we will peg the dollar to gold at $35 an ounce. Everyone else can peg their currency to the dollar. And then the dollars are refundable. You know, you can get an ounce for $35. And so that, you know, was whatever. There were problems with the Bretton Woods Agreement, but that was what stood from after World
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Just fill in the blanks.
War II so from 1944 to 1973 or 1971 when he took us off the gold standard. And so essentially what happened was through the 60s, we started cheating. And it became very obvious to the world that we were like, you know, in the 1960s, you're like, you have the Great Society. So we created Medicare and
oh, yeah. This is the argument that we lied to all the other world powers about how much gold we had. Fuck, hold on. I have to find this one part. Like, this is the same, like, Ron Paul horse shit we've heard forever.
All that fucked up.
Just for one, and I completely agree with you. I mean, launching the war on drugs was a disaster, but taking us off the gold standard was one of the
that's the
speechwriter for him. And he was like, well, look, what were we going to do at that point? All of Europe is destroyed. And
okay, so it's 44-17. Hold on, beg your pardon. Let me see if I can find this little piece.
This is going to lead to big government. This is going to be the era of big government. So he was big by Woodrow Wilson in 1913.
Oh, here we go.
Because it's all related.
It's all related. Here we go.
You know, the Federal Reserve was created in 1913, or the Federal Reserve Act was signed into law by Woodrow Wilson in 1913. And then in 1914, I think, is when it actually got up and running. And in 1914 is when the income tax was passed, also signed into law by Woodrow Wilson. And 3 years later is World War I.
What? Like, holy shit, who could see that coming? They passed the income tax, and 3 years later, we start irritating Hitler, who's just trying to do his fucking thing, baby.
You know? Like 3 years later, or American entry into World War.
Sorry, it might help your case if we started the fucking thing because of some bullshit. American entry.
One. So it's like, this is the banking system and the tax system are very like interrelated with the warfare state.
Yeah, okay. So that's the part I accidentally skipped over that earlier. Yeah. How stupid? That's stupid. Seriously, like, I mean, let's not breeze past this. This motherfucker just made the case that there is a direct line between passing the income tax and the Fed, creating the Fed, a federal government, like a central bank, because our country was growing, and us going into World War I. Not World War II, World War I. Because, I mean, we gotta, you know, how are you gonna print money if you're not killing people, right? That's the argument.